Okay, so like in this session, we'll discuss about how to manage Microsoft Intune using PowerShell. So mostly we are using PowerShell for the automation and even like Intune automation, reporting, troubleshooting. All these we can manage from the PowerShell also. So all these days we have a GUIs, we are admin center from the Intune admin center we can manage. But in order to manage Intune from the PowerShell, we required Microsoft Graph. Like what is that Microsoft Graph also? We'll discuss. Here we are going to manage by default PowerShell not going to support, but where we need to install Microsoft Graph API and PowerShell modules we need to install. So now here we need to install those from the PowerShell modules. So then, from that we can manage. And what is Graph API is like in order to manage the PowerShell or programmatically to manage, Microsoft has provided Microsoft Graph API. Like it is to connect to Microsoft services like Intune, Azure AD, Teams, Outlook, SharePoint. For all that, like they have given the APIs. So that means, say, suppose you want to do the automation on Azure, Azure HDK would be there. In the same way here, Microsoft Graph API has been provided by Microsoft in order to automate like most of the Microsoft solutions, Microsoft 365 services we can manage. So in the Microsoft 365 series, we have Intune, Azure AD, Teams, Outlook, SharePoint, all those we are going to get. So now here we have that graph dot Microsoft, but that's not like through GUI we are not managing. So this is even programmatically also developers also can manage from .NET or from the .NET code from there also they can manage. This is not like a admin kind of thing. So here this is a API kind of thing, and using the same API we can manage even the administration also we can manage. So now here if you come to Microsoft Graph, like here we have um, through the REST APIs and the libraries we can control most of the Microsoft 365 all these things we can control to access the data. Say here how we are going to access that is through the programmatically or like through the PowerShell we are going to use. So for the Intune also we are using Graph API itself because like Intune portal is a GUI version, but like it's a user friendly. But we want to automate in our organization, like maybe scriptable automation is required, and based on the integration with the third party tools we need to perform, then we need PowerShell plus Graph API is required. So then what are the things we can do is we can fetch the device details and managing the users, groups, applications, application distributions, policies. We can generate the reports for the compliances, configuration and usage. And most of the automation we can perform even from the bulk operations. So now here in the in the PowerShell by default it won't get. We need to import Graph API modules also. Then we need to authentication. Then that authentication is going to send to Azure AD authentication. Then we are getting a REST request. And once we got that REST request, we can perform our own API commandlets or like programmatically also we can install. Then we need to use install hyphen module in order to install the graph Intune we need to do. Then connect hyphen mg graph here Microsoft Graph we need to use. Then it's going to authenticate. So what are the advantages we are getting is through the admin center we are getting GUI, which is the user friendly kind of thing. But we want to automate even with the with the automation and like it's a unified endpoint. So for most of the Microsoft 365 services, we have the unified endpoint is there for all the Microsoft services. and we can automate most of the Intune administrative tasks also we can automate, and that would be useful for our reporting, compliance, security, and for the in gathering the inventory. All these we can do, and even we can integrate with the like any of the CI/CD pipelines we want to automate, or with the monitoring solutions or ITSM kind of tools. So with all these we can monitor. But Graph API, we can use even from the API wise also. That means with the programmatical also we can manage. Means that developers also can use this Graph API from the like their applications from the .NET. That like through the APIs also it's going to be communicated. But as of now we are going to use from the PowerShell wise we are going to manage. Okay, so from the PowerShell wise, we need to manage. So now here we have a PowerShell mission. On the PowerShell by default, like Intune kind of capabilities we are not getting because we don't have that like Graph API is not coming. Then we are installing that Graph API. We are installing that module. And what is the module name here? What is the module name? Microsoft hyphen Graph, Microsoft type in Graph. Okay, so this Microsoft Graph, like we need to install. We'll try to install. Otherwise, Microsoft Graph dot Intune also is required, and these required some NuGet, some other packages also is required. That commandlet itself will try to install that. It always run as an administrator. We'll try to install this. The install hyphen module Microsoft.graph. We're trying to install those. Otherwise, graph.intune also we can use, but in the graph, all those we are getting. And if we have the older version of the graph also, we can update also. Then we can connect to that graph API using connect hyphen mg graph is the command. And all the devices like some of the PowerShell commandlets we need to get that like get mg device management, manage devices, like this here will get. So this command what it is doing, install hyphen module Microsoft dot graph, or if you want only Intune, then graph dot Intune also we can give. Microsoft dot graph dot Intune also we can give. Only that module, like only Intune level graph modules are getting installed. Then like we need to connect to that to the graph we need to connect. Yeah, it's trying to download those packages, all those. It's graph.group identity governance. That means AD like Entra ID related are all Microsoft 365 is getting downloaded. So now, our understanding is Graph API is a Microsoft REST API. It's act as a central gateway programmatically to manage all Microsoft 365 devices. Okay, so with there they have provided one endpoint, and from that itself we are going to manage. And even from the PowerShell also is going to communicate with that Graph API, and it's going to set up. Once we set up this Graph API, like it's going to authenticate with the Azure AD, and it sends the request to that Graph API. Like PowerShell itself in the backend, it will send and it will retrieve those operations, all those it is going to perform. Okay, so now here we are going to use the Graph API in our automation we are going to use, and we require the appropriate Intune permissions also to connect, and it's the easiest way to automate managing the Intune or the high scalable bulk operations through programmatically or through PowerShell for the automating the task and more reporting options, integrations with the CI/CD pipelines. All those also we can perform. That means if we give the script, automatically we can run on through the CI/CD pipeline scheduling at some specific operations. All that also we can automate. Okay, so now here we have installed that Microsoft Graph. Then I'll try to upgrade also. Like if you want to upgrade that, if you have a older version of the Graph, like we are install module we have done. Like now we are going to update. Just now we have installed, you no need to do. But if you have any older version of the APIs we are using, then we are installing this update modules. Uh, Microsoft may be providing the new modules for the Microsoft Graph. Okay, so then the important step is now we need to authenticate to like to that Graph API. We are going to authenticate. Okay, so from the PowerShell, it need to authenticate to our Intune. Okay, so that's the reason here we are using the PowerShell commandlet module connect type an mg graph. Connect type an mg graph we are using in order to connect to that Intune. Now connect type an mg graph. Like here this through the PowerShell using the Graph API, we are trying to authenticate to Azure AD. Azure AD to to that Intune. It is trying to authenticate. With the Graph itself, authentication also need to install. So that is, we need to set the execution policy, to import the modules to execute those. Since as we downloaded that module, we need to give the permission to execute those. And as of now, given only for the current user, we log in as the admin. Remote signed is downloaded scripts also need to be signed. Well, we'll discuss the command. Let's install that. So now here connect type an mg graph module we are using to authenticate to the Intune with the graph API. It's going to authenticate. Then we can check the current condition, all those. Get type an mg contest. We can get that whether the authenticated all those. Then here we need to get the uh, Intune, which of the devices have been enrolled. Okay, so that's what are the devices have been enrolled. We are getting through the command let get hyphen mg device management manage device. So now that is the PowerShell command let. So that's like a get hyphen mg device management manage device. So here this is going to get depends upon the object ID, device name, operating system, and what is the state of the complaints. And we can filter even by giving the specific device name also. Only one specific device details we want to do. So that's we can perform. Then even we can do the retire or wipe off also. We can perform. Mostly these all the things we can do from the GUI wise also, but we want to automate it through through the automation. Then we are going to use the these PowerShell commandlets we are going to use. It is trying to authenticate with that with the Microsoft we have that Intune credentials we have. So those credentials we need to provide here. This ending authenticator app. And now that has been approved. So now to the PowerShell through Graph API, we are giving the permissions to authenticate. So now here, this we have delegated the permissions. Now these PowerShell commandlets, we can get that. So now here we'll try to run this get hyphen. So these all the PowerShell commandlets will come when we import that graph module. When we import that module, we are getting all those permissions. So now these all the devices have been enrolled with us. So now here get type an MG device management device we have management managed device. So whatever the devices have been showing, and it shows the objects like ID, what is the ID for the each object, device name, operating system, and what is the compliance state. All those have been registered here. Okay, so now some of them have been not registered as non-compliance, and some of them registered as a compliance kind of thing. So now here based on the device name also, so that details we can get that. So suppose here instead of getting all the devices, so now here we are trying to registered only specific device level. I want to say the device name is iPad. That particular device name I'll copy. So even if you want to wipe off any device based on the device ID, we can use our device name. We can retrieve those details. So now only that particular device details only it is going to show. Okay, so like this here we have some of the PowerShell commandlets, some important PowerShell commandlets, and this wipe a device or retire a device. All this we can control even from the PowerShell commandlet itself. We can perform, and even if we want to sync any device and what are the policies we have, complaints policies, and what are the applications we have, like assigning a new applications, like most of the things we can do through the PowerShell. And even like bulk operations also, we have 100 devices, all those I want to retain. So like this also we can do the automation through the bulk operations also we can perform. Okay, and once our work is done, like we can disconnect because we log in with this, right? Like to that Intune portal, we have login through Graph API. So that's once your work is done, then again disconnect type in MG Graph we need to install. So we need to disconnect also from the MG Graph we can disconnect. Okay, so then here like here we have some of the PowerShell modules also. Here it is going to ensure whether that PowerShell module has been is installed. If not installed, then it's maybe trying to install also. Okay, so that's maybe if not done, then this connect type an MG graph we are going to connect to that. Okay, so then here we have like this instead of running the commandlets, we can use the PowerShell command scripts also we can perform. So this PowerShell scripts also we can automate depends upon our requirement. These PowerShell scripts we can use. So this command here that's doing like bulk operations we can perform. Okay, so now here we can do the bulk operations also. We can connect to that, and that means all that we can write as a script. So now here list all the devices, get the device name, wiping a device, retiring a device, syncing a device. Like this here, like these PowerShell commands also or scripts also we need to tell we are going to automate in our environment. So like this here, we need to use the PowerShell for the automation, and this PowerShell command script can be integrated with the Azure pipelines or with the Azure Jenkins kind of CI/CD pipelines also we can integrate automatically at the end of the day. It can perform this kind of operations also. Then even for the troubleshooting purpose also, we can use like a PowerShell. For that also Graph API is required, and we need to check the device enrollment status. Okay, so whether the devices have been enrolled and when the last sync date is there, and we can trigger the sync also manually by using the PowerShell command let invoke -mg device management. These at least 10 to 15 PowerShell command lets we need to remember how to connect, and after that uh, uh, 10 to 15 PowerShell commandlets we need to remember those. And these PowerShell commandlets in our every daily life we are going to use like that. We need to verify. And even if that like policies are not applied, what are the current policy assignment on that group level or user level? So these all like these some like these troubleshooting steps also, instead of doing from the GUI, we can do even from the PowerShell itself. We can perform these. Okay, so try to take one Windows mission and if you have the time, try to run these all the PowerShell commandlets we can do. Okay, and for the automation also we can write a script also. Okay, so this script also automatically will sync all the devices and will check the compliance policies are there. Like this here, we are going to we are going to get these on the bulk operations we can perform. Okay, so like this here, we need to manage the PowerShell commandlets. All these also we need to manage. So try to download this script. If you have already Intune account, right? That credentials you can authenticate. Yeah, please download that file. Download it. Okay. So try to perform at least 5 to 10 PowerShell commandlets. And always we need to enable remote signed execution. We need to enable and verify that get module, like what are the modules have been installed in that Microsoft Graph is there or not. And connect-mg graph module we need to use to authenticate to like Azure. Okay, so these all the basic commands, and that get-mg device management. So those device management, some PowerShell commandlets, repair, wipe, getting the reports, app installations, policies, getting those reports of policies. Those all the PowerShell commandlets. Try to remember. Okay. So try to run those, like in the document, what are the PowerShell commandlets are there, try to run them. Okay. And download that document also.